Whatever the occasion, effortless elegance is right this way. Because Hilton brings you new ways to stay courtesy of the Nomad London. And it doesn't stop at award-winning dining in a space draped in velvet and illuminated by vintage chandeliers. No, this day goes beyond with unparalleled personalized service and attentive hospitality. Oh, and did we mention the Nomad London can be booked using your Hilton Honors points at Hilton.com? Hilton, for the stay.
This episode is brought to you by Indeed. When your computer breaks, you don't wait for it to magically start working again. You fix the problem. So why wait to hire the people your company desperately needs? Use Indeed's sponsored jobs to hire top talent fast. And even better, you only pay for results. There's no need to wait. Speed up your hiring with a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. I don't know if you knew this, but anyone can get the same premium wireless for $15 a month plan that I've been enjoying. It's not just for celebrities. So do like I did and have one of your assistants switch you to Mint Mobile today. I'm told it's super easy to do at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
All right, welcome to the Basketball Leadership Podcast. Coach, how are you today?
I am doing good. How are you?
I'm good. School's winding down. Even these podcasts are going out when school's winding down. So
it's a good time of year. It's a crazy time of year.
It is. Hey, I didn't even tell you before we jumped on. It's like, so the season ended, and then my wife got strep throat, my daughter got strep throat, I got strep throat, and then the strep throat kind of went to this urinary. It's like, oh my gosh. So it's like I think I'm out of the woods with I think it's a letdown postseason. Don't you think?
Oh yeah, your body says you can get sick now. I mean,
right. I think it's true. I think you're so I can't get sick. I can't get sick. What are you talking? I can't get sick. Yeah.
I agree. I think your defenses are down. I'm the same.
Yeah.
I don't usually get sick, but if I do,
that's when it is.
That's when it is.
I know. All right. So today we're going to talk about the importance of language and phrasing. So what do you mean by this, Coach?
Well, I just think, as coaches, how we talk obviously matters, and we all have little phrases that we use. They could be phrases within the game, for example, like within the basketball game itself, I might, talk a lot about fake a pass, make a pass, these little phrases, I'm going to say coaching mnemonic phrases that are powerful, but then also the phrasing we use just to really build the culture in our program. And I'll throw out a couple that I use a lot that are kind of my favorite phrases, and you can share yours. But I think coaches really have to kind of pick what's important to you. You have to find phrasing that works with that. And then you kind of have to simplify and repeat that over time. One thing I use all the time, for example, is be great at what you're good at. And, I do that because we talk about role definition and we over me so much. And then what type of phrasing can we use that really, really promotes that? And so be great at what you're good at is a phrase that we use all the time. The theme of our program, no deposit, no return, which is, again, one of my 3 big pillars, which is you get out of basketball what you put into it, and there's nothing given to you. So I'm going to use that phrase a lot. We talk about we over me. That's a phrase. And then, one more that I'll share, but or 2 more, a failure to plan is a plan for failure. I love that phrase. Be a star in your role. Again, something that is defining roles. So I'd be curious, Coach, what phrases you use. Those are some of my most, important ones for our program. And I just think how we talk really matters.
It is. And I think it's important to have almost a dictionary for your, your program. We talk about where we don't want, we don't want the balls, up here, Statue of Liberty, we don't want in the middle, pregnant. I think I try to keep everything in kind of groups of 3. We tend to come up with, no I in team, blah, 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 all those kind of things. I let them kind of come up with that. So that's one of our fall things, is to kind of come up with, what do you want? And then I send them off with some homework, and then we usually come back with one or two things. I love a couple of those, like be a star in your role. I love that.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like, don't step outside your box, man. Like, this is what you're good at. If you want to play, this is like, you know, we can't all be talented at everything. So I think we as a program really try to get the terminology done. You know, do you use weak side? Do you use help side? Do you do like,
Yep.
so we're all talking the same language. So I think the phrasing in that language is important for any coach, but especially within a program, it's super important to be able to make sure you're talking the same thing. Otherwise, there's going to be a mistake. And then, you know, I was using, and again, stats teacher, one of the space shuttles blew up because we were talking to Great Britain. We were talking in our system. They were talking in their systems in terms of metric and English system. And there was a mess up. There were several mess ups that caused it, but it was a lack of that communication and talking about the same things. But I think that's so important, and to simplify it too.
Yeah.
Simple is better. Like you can like,
yeah. And that, I would say, as a young coach, that was a fault of mine, is I had too much, and I really learned to simplify that. We have like a master vocabulary list that I share with our coaches, and I don't expect them to know it all. These are just phrases that we use, like you mentioned, all the time. But I also think, you know, the more you're around someone, we all feed off each other. We all rub off each other. So my assistants being around me, hearing my phrasing, they start using that phrasing naturally. Right. The kids start using that. And so, yeah, simplifying and being consistent and knowing what it is. I think that's when you're a more veteran coach and you've done that for a long time, it kind of just feeds off onto other people. But being purposeful and simplifying it is incredibly important.
And words matter.
They do.
You're an administrator. It's like how you say stuff. And I didn't understand this as a young teacher or coach either, but you know, it really does. And one phrase can ripple, can, for both directions, can change a kid's life, can also impact the kid's life in a negative way.
Yeah.
So I think people forget that, which goes into your phrasing and stuff, that, you know, words, and I tell the boys, words matter all the time. It's like, it's, you know, how you communicate with your teammates and how you phrase things matter. You know, this is more general about phrasing, but it's like how you talk to your teammate. It's better to talk to them before the mistake than after the mistake.
Yep.
And doing reminders and things like that.
And I think we're talking about the words right now. In a future podcast, we're going to dive into body language a little bit and how that, you know, correlates with that. But another phrase that I've had to use, I'm going to say way more often the last 5 years than I ever did before. And I needed it because of how kids are today. And that is listen with your eyes. You know, it is so easy for kids to get distracted in today's world. And, you know, you're talking in a group or whatever, and they're, you know, they got the side conversation started, and that's frustrating for teachers, coaches to do that. And I love that phrase because whenever I say, listen with your eyes, you know, their eyes turn and they attend to me, and it just changes the whole dialogue. I use that at camp. I use that with, you know, kids at the right moment. But another simple phrase that I really think is important.
Well, it's also like phrasing's like a trigger.
Totally.
It is 100% a trigger. And, you know, I mean, I don't want to compare our players to dogs, but it's similar. You teach them, you say treat, they know what that means. Yeah. You say listen with your eyes, they know what that means. It's subtle, but it's like listen with your eyes. Poof. Like they're gonna turn, and that's what's gonna, you know, and sometimes
no different as a teacher, you know, to get kids' attention, and you know, people will clap twice and the kids clap back, or they'll, you know, it's just, yeah, we're creatures of habit.
I use the like I'll stand in front of class. I'll just do that, and that's all it takes. It's a couple of those. It's like, oh, Mr. Collins is ready to go. Yep, I am. And then I usually make some dad joke after that. So it's like,
isn't that the presence that coaches and good coaches, good teachers have. I mean, it's hard to explain, but when you have that presence, you can walk into a classroom and people just, they just focus on you. They know something's coming, and you'll get a new teacher and they're struggling with, how do I command a classroom?
Right.
I mean, this is the art of coaching, and phrasing is important with that, and how you carry yourself, and all of that matters. And
it does. And it's like, I used to panic. Like, I'd sit and take attendance. And first of all, attendance is the worst thing in the history of mankind for a teacher. I hate it.
I know.
Teachers. It's like, we should be able to scan a man. There should be an app where they walk in the door, they scan their phone or whatever they have, or their ID, and we're done. Think of the time that I would save. Anyway, they used to panic me. Now I just sit down. I make sure I take attendance properly because it's important. Yeah. And then when I'm done, I get up, and then they know, okay, because I don't care if they're talking while I'm taking attendance. Great. Yeah. You haven't seen your friends. You're sitting next to them. Yeah. But they know when I get up from my desk and I'm walking around and we're going to get started, that, Mr. Collins is ready to go,
Game on.
And sometimes it takes more. Maybe I have a kid at the desk and they've got a question and I'm answering, the bell rings, I answer them, then I got to take attendance. So it can be a couple minutes. You used to panic me like, oh my God. And it's like, well, we'll get to it when we get to it. It's more important. They need that little bit of chatty time too, I think.
Yeah, they need that as well. No, but just an emphasis to coaches, like, think about your phrasing, write them down, share it with your kids, share it with your coaches. It becomes your culture. How you talk as a coach feeds off into everyone else, and it becomes what your program is. So it's really just a reminder to be purposeful with all that.
Purposeful. I think that's a great way to end. All right. Till next week, Coach.
See ya.
This podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.
Craftsman Days are here at Lowe's with big savings on the tools you need. Save $100 on the Craftsman V20 6-tool Power Tool Combo Kit, now at $199. No matter what the project is, Craftsman's high-quality, high-performance products empower you to build on. Stop by your nearest Lowe's store and check out the full line of Craftsman tools today. Valid through 6/18 while supplies last. Selection varies by location.